Hi everybody, I have Peanut with me. He just came and sat there, so that's kind of nice. Anyway, it's a lovely day here in Phoenix. The high in July is around like 99 degrees, and it's been cloudy all day, which is really unusual. Everyone's in a better mood because it's not too hot. Anyway, today I'm doing a video on being an empath. I'm an empath. I think I just came out that way out of my mother's womb. And anyway, I think it's an important question to know about yourself or ask about yourself. Experiences can make us super sensitive. So are you a super sensitive person? I am, always was. And I think it was my way of trying to understand what was going on around me. So all of my feelers went out to my environment to try and figure out what's happening. And in turn, it made me super sensitive and wanting to understand what's going on around me. There's a helicopter in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Anyway, it can be a little bit difficult to exist in this world and be super sensitive or empathic. And what happens is your energy goes out to other people and you start feeling it. I did this because my mother was deaf, didn't know how to communicate. My dad had major anxiety disorder. Nobody knew how to communicate. My mom, who's deaf, didn't teach us how to communicate with her using sign language, which again, that's kind of crazy, doesn't make any sense, but it was a barrier to communication, so there was a greater need to try and understand. And also, I had 3 siblings who had cystic fibrosis, so I had 3 siblings who were very ill most of their life. So there was always this tension in the air, and I became very sensitive to feeling that, to try and understand and try and survive. And I became highly sensitive. And I would cry at the drop of a hat. I cried all the time. And in fact, in summer camp, this is like Mormon summer camp, it was a girls' camp. They gave prizes at the end of the summer camp, like one night, this is in the evening, the last night, we were sitting around a campfire and everyone got these silly awards. And mine was the biggest crybaby. And guess who got that award? Me. And guess what? It made me cry. It was not good for a sensitive empath. Anyway, so how do you know if you're sensitive or an empath? Actually becoming a healer and doing energy healing and psychic work, it's helped me a lot. But so it can actually help becoming an energy healer or a psychic, because it can help you kind of differentiate energy and what's coming in. And is it you? Is it me? Or is it somebody else that's coming into my field? What can I do about this? Can I block it? A lot of people ask me, how do I block energy from coming in? So you have to work on your energy field to actually be able to do that. And there are some things that you can do about that. But those are exercises. And maybe I'll make a video around doing that so that so you can help protect yourself from that energy. But I use an example of once I was on the train. This is when I lived in New York, and it's amazing that somehow I lived in New York City and I was okay. Maybe I learned how to kind of block it. I don't know. But once I was riding on a train, and riding on the subway in New York, there is so much energy that you're surrounded by. And I was on the train, and they used to, what they called it, you're a strap hanger, even though they're not straps anymore, but you're like hanging on, like, yeah. And so, because the train was packed, so I was standing and kind of hovering over somebody. And at some point, the way I felt completely changed, because I was feeling okay. And at some point I was like, oh my God, I am so depressed. What is wrong with me? What is this? And I'm looking around like, what just happened to me? Because within a matter of just a few minutes, I changed, and I thought it was me. And so I'm looking around and I look down on this woman, and who I'm hovering over her, like my body is like hovering over her. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's like the subway system in New York. And I saw this really pale, almost gray looking woman who looked super depressed. And I was like, oh my God, that's her. That's not me. And I'm so glad I recognized that. So glad I recognized that. And so I was able to just, I don't know how I kind of pushed it away. Maybe it was just the recognition, because I wasn't doing this kind of work at that time. But it's a really good example of just picking up on people's energy and not knowing, and it's you, you think it's you, but it's actually someone else. And I think it explains it really well. So sometimes that can happen quite easily, and we don't know that we've picked up on other people's emotions. And so that's part of the kind of problem with being a really sensitive person or an empath. But you can actually use this at some point in your life if you learn how to deal with it and recognize it, because then you can kind of energetically shove it off, like, oh no, that's them, and I'm feeling my field, and that's them, so I don't have to absorb all of their energy. And you can learn how to do that. You can do that. It's very important. Anyway, I was oh yeah, I'm going to change. I just wanted to ask a few questions, because I think this is important, that you can ask yourself, do you feel what other people are feeling? I mean, some people are really conscious of this and some are not. Are you overly sensitive? Do you feel really, really anxious sometimes when you're around a lot of people? Do you have a hard time dealing with crowds? You might be an empath, and sometimes people who are empaths have to just tuck themselves away and not be around people. I had a friend who, she has since passed, she was a psychic for a living, a beautiful woman. She actually could not be on trains. She just couldn't ride them. She felt so much stuff coming from everybody that she literally hid at home. It's easier to do that these days, because now we have food that will be delivered to us. Everything can be brought to you at your doorstep, so you don't have to go outside. She was kind of one of those people at an early stage. And she did have a hard time living with that, but she was a highly psychic and actually worked for famous people because she was that psychic. She worked for a lot of people, like on call for a few famous people who could call her at any time and say, I need you to look at this psychically. Anyway, I think that, her being so sensitive, she became really depressed and died way too young. So feeling other people's emotions can get really confusing. And I did an energy healing the other day, and this was kind of a combination of energy healing and psychic reading together. So it had a lot of flow to it as far as what we're looking at. This woman, her mother had died not that long ago. And so while we were doing this healing / reading, there was a lot of stuff coming up that I was, and this can happen with mediums also, and I am a medium, that when you're feeling energy coming in, you feel it in your body. You literally feel it in your body, and that is being empathic. and some people, some mediums from the spiritualist tradition call that a clairsentient. You feel things. And so what can happen is like, oh man, I'm feeling something on the side of my head. Did they have a stroke before they died? Or you can literally feel pain. Like once I saw somebody get hit over the back of their head, and it killed them. And which was funny is because it happened up the street from where I used to work. And it happened at that time period when I worked there. And then suddenly we're doing a message circle, and some of his family showed up and wanted information. And that's what I saw. But I saw it, so that's visual, but I could feel it too. Anyway, back to this woman. So I'm doing a reading for her. Her mother came through. And at some point when I'm doing this healing / reading, I am in so much pain physically. Like I'm feeling like my kidneys hurt, my whole womb area hurts, feels like something's wrong there. I feel stuff in my heart. I feel like my lungs are filling up. And it was so uncomfortable and while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Oh my God, I think I'm really sick. Now, at some point, I was in this place of all this feeling for too long. In fact, at some point I went, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore because it is so uncomfortable. So I finally said, your mother, did she had kidney disease before she died? Yes, she did. There was and I can't remember what was happening with the womb area. Oh, that was her. So I was feeling the mother who had passed and this woman simultaneously. So there was just a lot of feelings going on there. And then the woman's mother died because she had kidney disease, her lungs filled up eventually, and that's what she passed from. Anyway, and so I'm going over all this stuff I'm feeling but I'm thinking it's me. And then it suddenly dawned on me and I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, do you sometimes think that there's something really, really wrong with you and you wonder what it is? And she said, yes. And that's what I was feeling. So, but I didn't know it. So I was holding that energy in my being, my energetic body, feeling it physically, and thinking it's me for quite some time, for way too long. And so this is the part of being really sensitive, being an empath, that can be quite difficult. And so refining and doing this kind of work helps you kind of decipher if it's me or if it's you. And it's a good idea to ask yourself that, just, is this me? Oh, pardon me. Is this me or is this them? And ask, go inside of yourself and really ask yourself what that is, because we are all sensitive and we're all energetic beings. So we can feel more and be more psychic than we know. And it could be coming from someone else. And that's a part of being psychic, being empathic. It comes with the territory. So actually it can be really helpful to learn how to deal with this. And I sometimes tell people who I think who are super sensitive, and maybe they don't want to be an energy healer. But I tell them that perhaps it would be a good idea to learn energy healing so that you just become more aware of energy. So you can feel when it's coming in, you can feel when you get hit with energy, and know if you need to step aside, you can step aside. And sometimes it's precognitive. I was in a bar many years ago with a friend, and he's my best friend, John Law. Anyway, we were in some club dancing. We were upstairs. It was late. It was at night. Everyone was having fun, listening to music and dancing and everything. And we had just gotten upstairs, and I felt this energy kind of coming forward, like this real sense of energy moving through the room, coming in my direction. And it was strong. It wasn't a little feeling. And I'm like, oh, something's coming. So I literally stepped aside, and all of a sudden there was this fight and bottles being thrown and several guys fighting with each other coming in our direction. But I had stepped out just in time so that I wasn't part of that scenario. That is one of the advantages of being an empath, is that you can, and that's definitely, it was like a precognitive, because I don't know, it was probably like 30 seconds before it happened, I felt the energy rushing towards me, so I was able to get out. So anyway, so being sensitive to energy, people's energy, and just energy in rooms, energy in the air, energy in a place on earth, these are all part of being an empath. So it's a fun thing to explore. And if you're really sensitive, you might be an empath. And it's just a good thing to know so that you can deal with it and you can separate yourself from that energy. Now, sometimes when you go through this, the feelings can be really quite overwhelming, and you don't know what to do. I think what can happen if you get used to being that sensitive, that you can kind of turn that down a notch so it doesn't affect you so much, or you just get used to it so you can actually handle it. But that takes a while to learn how to do. Definitely takes a while to learn how to do, but you can do it. Anyway, let me know if you're an empath or not. Anyway, because it can be rough sometimes, but you can learn how to deal with it, how to use it so that it works for you. But it takes a lot of looking at it and trying to understand and feel it within yourself to manage it. When I did hair for years, as a hairstylist for many years. And sometimes when I would I'd stand behind people and we're talking with the mirror back and forth. And standing behind someone, you can feel their energy really well. And this is, sometimes that's more of their hidden energy that's coming behind them. It can be the past or what they're trying not to show, whereas the front, this is what I'm presenting to you, this is me. Sometimes when I would do that, I would start getting really, really nervous or anxious. And it took me a long time to understand part of what that is it's my reaction to their energy field. There's something about them, like that maybe they're very aggressive, and so I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I want to feel their energy, or they're a mean person, and so that's why, and I did hair in New York, and some people are not nice. I mean, that happens everywhere. But I don't know, New Yorkers care less about what they say to people. Whereas like in Utah, where I came from, people are very, very nice and very smiley, but they can be very fake too. So New Yorkers care less about that. They're going to be more honest. So it can be someone coming from Utah, it's a little bit scary. So I would get nervous sometimes with certain people, and it was people who are more aggressive, because that is not part of my personality, just the way I grew up. It's all that Mormon training. You have to be nice and kind, and I think that's a good thing, but I had to work through some of that so that you just be more honest. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, it took a while for me to figure out, it's like, oh, this is my response to their energy. And some of it, it's like, I'm feeling their stuff, and it's making me feel their energy. I'm feeling their energy, which is creating more of the same energy, which is actually not helpful unless it's love or just kindness or just pure happiness. So these are the different types of energy that when we feel someone's energy, it can grow because there's a merging of energies. And so that's where, if that's a good energy, great. If it's not, You have to learn how to kind of shut it down. You can actually see a wall or a mirror in front of yourself, like the mirror is reflecting off of them, so you would put a mirror in front of yourself, but it's reflecting back to their energy so that they feel their energy and not your energy, and you're creating a separation so that it doesn't affect you as much. That's just one little exercise that you can do about kind of protecting your energy field. One of the little bit more extreme ones is you can put a wall of fire around you. And what that looks like is just a circular wall of fire. Like I'm putting this wall like a firewall, but it's around you energetically, so it protects you. And you can also put an energy, that same firewall around them, so their energy stays contained. It's just something you can do to try and help with that. It does work. It really does work. Just to help you energetically, but you can, if you get good at building your energy field in a much stronger way, that you won't be quite so sensitive to other people's energy, so that you're not as affected by other people's energy. But that takes work, and that this is not going to be a video about doing that, but I guess I'm going to have to put a video together about doing that. But you can do that. You can work on building your energy field so that you do not absorb so much and have stronger, like it's like your astral body, your energetic body, all your bodies are just stronger, so that you have more control over what is coming in. Now, some information we want to come in, and that's being a medium and a psychic and an energy healer, you can learn how to turn that on or off. But sometimes things just come in, and that's usually for a reason, like a really good reason. Like a really good reason. Like that is protecting you. It's your soul or your higher self or a guide protecting you, and energies, information is coming in to help you with that. That can happen too. Anyway, do I have anything else to say about that? I'm sure I have a lot to say about it, but I think that's it for now. Hey, if you like this video, please, would you like more content that's similar to this? Please like, share, and subscribe. And also, I do this work, so I take appointments remote and in person if you live here in Phoenix. Anyway, it's really fun doing this kind of work. I love it. It's actually an amazing thing to be able to do. Anyway, so if you want to know more, you can contact me through this video. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your summer. Bye.